All right, grade 12s. So I've given you a little challenge to try to make a Sporcle type game, and I posted some code for you to go over, but I wanted to take this opportunity to go over it with you using this little video. So um, I've kind of enhanced my game. We're going to go over it a little bit, and I think it's going to help you kind of create your Sporcle game. If I run my game, I made a little game, and mine I haven't done mine up. Like mine don't have a user interface yet. But ideally, what I'm thinking is there should be a question at the top, and then maybe a bunch of blanks that get filled in or something like that when you get a right answer. But if I type a key, what you'll see on the screen is the letter will appear. Okay, so I can type whatever letters I want, and if I decide, if when I'm playing Sporcle, if I guess something and the answer's not there and I want to start again, I can hit backspace. So I hit backspace, and now it goes away and I can start over. So for me, because I'm a hockey fan, if I were to make a game saying list the top, guess the top 10 scorers in NHL history, if I type Gretzky, watch what happens. So I get that answer right, and then Gordie Howe is another one. Oops. Oh, and I misspelled it. So the way I have my game, if I hit backspace, I have to start all over again. You can maybe fix that after this. We'll see. I hit Howe. There we go. I got another one. Okay. And if I type anything else, I'm not going to get the answer right. All right. So let's take a look at how it works. And you'll notice there's only really three things. There's a world, a counter, and a label. So the counter is not really an actor. It doesn't go all over the place. So there's not a lot of acting. If I look in the counter code, this is pre-made code that somebody who works for Greenfoot made. So I didn't write this. And the label, same thing. I didn't write this either. These are both classes that I import into Greenfoot. So the only code that I have is right here in the My World area. So let's take a good look at this. What you'll see is a constructor. So let's start here. The constructor is here, and you know these lines. This makes the window. And then you can see I'm adding a couple of objects. One is called numWrite, one is called word, and they go back to here. So I'm adding a counter on the screen, and I'm adding what we call a label onto the screen. And the label is something that displays text in Greenfoot. Makes it really easy to put text on the screen. And then up here, I've also got a variable called userGuess, which is blank to begin. So what we're going to do, we're going to write an act method for the world. So basically, I know that worlds typically only come with constructors, but I'm going to write my own act method. So I actually typed that. And this says, I want the world to run this over and over and over again. So it says, okay, we're going to get a key. So we're going to detect a key, and we use the greenfoot.getKey function. And whatever key we get, we store that as a string called key. So if I were to type the letter R, it's going to be stored in the key variable. So what we get in here is it says, okay, well, if key is not null, and you've seen that before with collision detection. So basically it means if someone actually did hit a key, if the key was backspace, then we're going to blank out this userGuess, meaning that userGuess is going to be blank. So just take that for now. But if it's anything else other than backspace, we are going to take the value of key and we are going to add it to userGuess. So at the very start of the program, userGuess is blank. If I type a key, I add that to userGuess. So if I type D, well, now userGuess is nothing plus D, which is just D. And then if I type an E next, well, now I would have DE. So this userGuess, this line here, it makes userGuess grow and grow and grow. And then every time we type a key and change the value of userGuess, we check to see, well, if it matches Gretzky or if it matches Howe, which are my right answers. Well, then we blank out userGuess because they got one right and they want to start over, and we add one to the counter to keep score. And then here, this line right here, basically this says no matter what, so if a key is hit, whether we do this or we do this, we want to set the value of the label, which is on the screen, to userGuess. So now that you've seen the code, when I run it, so I'm going to type a key, and what's going to happen is it's going to go into here. So I'm going to type the letter D. So I type D, ready? Here we go, D, and what happens is user guess key is D, and then user guess became D, and now this line right here put D on the screen. So now, if I hit E, then E, key is now E, and that key value gets added to user guess, so user guess is now DE. And so on. And keep going, type a whole bunch of random things, and that's kind of how it works. So you can imagine that to make the game that you want to make, you could have a whole bunch of different answers. You could even use this new label thing that maybe you didn't know about before to put your question at the top. And then you can even give special meaning to other keys like the space bar or the enter key if you wanted to get it involved. But basically, this is kind of what you're doing. And I kind of glazed over this, but this says if the user guess, this is how we compare strings. So I say if user guess matches Gretzky, or if this is or if user guess matches Howe, and that's how we know we got one right. So you're probably going to have more than I do, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. One last thing, if I do go into label, I know I told you normally don't go in here, but if you don't like the look of that, the default that we get in this label is that the line color is black and the fill color is white. I don't particularly love that. If you change them both to black, like so, then we get a better kind of look. Okay, so I'll leave that preference to you. But that should help get you going a little bit on your Sporcle game. Okay? Good luck, everyone.